I am upset because I see something that is not there. These lessons are really weaning out the people that don't really want to be invested in such people that are not dedicated in this. We like to take it for a grain of salt or whatever they say, and instead of recognizing that this is absolute fact. We don't quite recognize it, and that's okay. You don't need to yet. But realize that this is not about something that you can be partial on when it gets down to it. So yes, you're likely to still think, duh, I know exactly why I'm upset, because they did this and that happened and this was going on, and anybody would be upset with this happening and anybody would be upset with this happening and so on. You would feel the same way if this happened to you and la-di-da. Yes, it's true. It's true. But the interesting thing is, and remember, please, that this course is about going into an alternate dimensional perspective. You're actually attempting to think differently to start recognizing a world that thinks differently as well. So in this way, if you really wanted to think in the way of unity and love, you can discover a world, a spiritual universe of unity and love. But you have to think in correspondence to that in order to discover that. You can't, and I feel like I'm saying this all backwards, but you can't see a world that you do not think in correspondence to. If you're thinking of a world as separate and upsetting and completely justified in your lack of peace, and it's hard to find love anywhere, then how on earth, or how in heaven, could you possibly recognize a universe of love and unification? The spiritual universe is a universe of love and unification. It really is actually this same one place. And yet, you can't see it if you think you're upset because of it. You think there's separate people, you think there's separate occurrences, you think this or that happened, and if it did, you're completely justified in being upset. But we want to start remembering that this is about detaching from what we think is these images of what we think is going on. And we want to retrain our brain, rewire our construct and our beliefs so that we can actually discover the truth and see the universe as it actually is, not as we want it to be. The insistence here is likely if you're upset, you are seeing a lot going on in here. And you're saying it has something to do with this world. So in this way, you can recognize that things would not be upsetting if you didn't have so much going on up here. So as you're processing and using this lesson, I am not upset. Well, I am upset because I see something that's not there. Where are you seeing? You might say, yes, with my eyes, I'm seeing bodies that are not there. And then you take it to that illusionary perspective. That's great. But also, this is more so about seeing stuff going on in here. Thinking. Images. Ideas. People get nauseated physically just by thinking about blood and guts and disgusting things. You can actually get upsetting body feelings. You can get emotionally distraught if you, say, heard something going on. I heard about this and now you're thinking about it. Talk about very upsetting. Oh my gosh, and then you find out the truth. And it was a big lie. And yet you were all run amok in your emotions and experience and upset. You saw something that is not here. It's not now. Right? So we want to remember that this is yes, a spiritual course, but it is a psychological perspective or version, an approach to spirituality. Spirituality is something of the spiritual universe that is naturally your inheritance, something you're going to discover no matter what. But if you're psychologically all traumatized and confused and upside down and backwards, you're not going to even recognize it. So this course is about helping you to see more clearly so that you can actually recognize the world around you as it actually is. There is no world like this, anything you see, for it is just a holographic representation provided by the spiritual universe. It is all the spiritual universe.